Hello, my name is Abigail Cook. Welcome to my OB presentation on the topic of rights of surrogates for University of Charleston, Beckley, West Virginia campus, Professor Lilly. Over the last few decades, surrogacy has become a common way of starting a family for couples who are unable to conceive a child on their own. However, there is still a high level of controversy and stigma surrounding this procedure. Unfortunately, a lot of the stigma stems from the lack of knowledge on this topic. Some couples are afraid they won't have enough legal rights and that the state won't allow them to keep their baby. Intended parents can overcome this paralyzing fear by learning more about the topic. Nonetheless, the legal process is still hard to navigate. There are some steps that the intended parents must fulfill in order to keep the baby. What is a surrogate? A surrogate is a woman who gets artificially inseminated with the father's sperm. She will then carry the baby and deliver it for the intended parents to raise. A traditional surrogate is the baby's biological mother because it was her egg that was fertilized by the father's sperm. Donor sperm can also be used. So, what is the dilemma? The dilemma is, does the surrogate mother have rights to the child that is being born? Surrogate is a selfless act, but the surrogate mother is also entitled to rights and protections as well. Some of these rights include she should be informed about any medical procedure and the potential side effects. She should choose her medical team if any side effects develop. She should have psychological help at any point during the pregnancy, and she should receive the compensation and or reimbursements agreed to in the legal agreement. A surrogate should also be well educated on the physical and medical implications of surrogacy to make the best decision for her. Medical consent is a major provision within a surrogacy contract. This means that both the intended parents and the surrogate must agree to testing for medical conditions and communicable diseases. Before the match is confirmed, it's also important to discuss termination to ensure you share the same feelings and beliefs. A woman's right to choose legally extends to surrogates, but if termination breaches the contract, she would not be entitled to compensation and may face other legal implications. It is important to address the different types of surrogacy. While it is rarely practiced in these days, and in many states it's illegal, traditional surrogacy still exists. Traditional surrogacy means that the surrogate's own egg is used, making her the child's genetic mother. It invites a whole host of potential legal and emotional complications, which is why few intended parents choose this route. In the more common gestational surrogacy arrangement, the surrogate undergoes IVF and carries a child that is genetically related to the intended mother or an egg donor with a proper legal contract in place to protect all parties. Gestational surrogacy arrangements are the safest route. What is involved in the rights of surrogates? One of the most important aspects of a surrogacy match is the legal contract. This contract is equally crucial for both parties, the intended parents and the surrogate mother. The intended parents want the security of established parental rights, and a surrogate's rights and protections as a gestational carrier must be addressed as well. Unfortunately, parental rights in surrogacy aren't guaranteed in all states. Thankfully, that's gradually becoming a thing of the past. The state surrogacy laws keep changing because updates are necessary to accommodate the way modern families are beginning to evolve. What else is involved in the rights of surrogates? Because there is no federal surrogacy law, intended parents often pose the question of legal rights. There's a lot of confusion surrounding the legal rights in surrogacy. Laws differ from state to state, and so does the legal process of surrogacy. Therefore, some of the existing laws are outdated and name the woman who delivered the child as the mother. This could present a problem for intended parents as it would not allow them to keep their baby. What are pre-birth orders? Signing legal documents and relinquishing legal rights to a child before birth is a straightforward way to establish parentage in surrogacy. A pre-birth order assigns the legal rights to intended parents and allows them to keep the baby. However, those legal rights are established only after the child's birth. Nonetheless, they do give the intended parents the legal rights that they need. Pre-birth orders are not only a great way for intended parents to gain legal rights, but they also help ease their worries. Some intended parents fear that the surrogate mother will change her mind and refuse to give up the baby after the birth. With a pre-birth order, that scenario is impossible. However, states that do allow pre-birth orders allow intended parents to start the paperwork as early as the 4th month of gestation. In the days following the birth, the intended parents might need to show up in court and confirm their rights assigned by the pre-birth order. This court hearing is also another opportunity for the surrogate mother to relinquish her rights. Post-birth. Some states do not allow pre-birth orders. In terms of surrogacy, these states are the post-birth states. By state law, intended parents aren't allowed to file papers that will ensure their legal rights to keep the baby until after the baby is born. Unfortunately, these states make surrogacy a more difficult process. However, it is not impossible. In post-birth states, intended parents need to appear in court after the birth. A court hearing will usually be an easy process if all the parties agree over the parentage of the baby. Who is involved in surrogacy? In the surrogacy process, there are legal representatives to help create the contracts, the intended parents, the surrogate mother, the health professionals, and the child that is being carried. What is my stand on the rights of surrogates? I believe that the intended parents should have the full rights of their child. The surrogate mother was aware of the process when she agreed to help the family. Therefore, I do not think that during the pregnancy or after the birth, she should not be able to change her mind and keep the baby instead of giving it over to the intended parents, which was the goal of the entire pregnancy. Once the agreement has been made between the intended parents and the surrogate mother, the intended parents should then receive the full rights, just as it was intended and agreed upon by both parties before the process even began. I think that it is very important to create the contracts for the family, intended parents, and the surrogate mother to follow in order to achieve the goal of creating a child for the intended family that cannot create one on their own. Why is this topic important to me? This is an important topic to me because I am friends with a family who had their child with the aid of a surrogate mother. Fortunately, they did not have any legal issues. I also believe it is important because surrogacy helps to build families for those who so desperately want a family, but they cannot start one on their own. If rights are changed, the intended parents will no longer receive the family that they had intended on having and planned for, and it just makes the process a lot harder on the intended family who is trying so desperately to begin their family with the help of a surrogate mother. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope that you were able to learn things through my presentation, and my references will be included at the end of the presentation.